Hi there, welcome to Elevate Wellness. I am Coach Latanya. I have over 20 years in the fitness and wellness space. Every day I help people online achieve their fitness and wellness goals through programs, products, and services. Today I am going to be talking to you about carbs and the importance of carbs, especially on your fat loss journey. Now I know you've probably heard, because I've heard it as well, that carbs are is a food that we really should not be eating. We shouldn't be consuming this food because it's not good for us, especially if we're trying to lose weight. But that is not true. And I want to help you understand more about that topic, okay, so that you're more informed when you make your decisions, when you go to the supermarket, when you cook your meals, or when you go out to eat. All right? So if you're interested in that topic, stay tuned. All right, let's get into the topic, okay? So what are carbs? Carbs basically is fuel. It's a macronutrient. I've covered this before. We have our fat, we have our protein, and we have our carbs. Those are three macronutrients, okay? Macro meaning there's a big, it's a whole, right? Now in that category, you have simple carbs and you have complex carbs, okay? So your simple carbs are your sugars, your candies, your sodas, your crackers, your chips. Those are your simple carbs, right? And they are void of nutrients. They are highly processed. They are highly processed, and they really don't serve us nutritionally, okay? But our examples of our complex carbs are sweet potatoes, oatmeal, barley, lentils, beans, quinoa, vegetables, fruits. Those are complex carbs. Now, the difference is one is processed and the other is not. So instead of saying that carbs are bad, I like to think more processed foods is what we want to stay away from, right? The more processed that food is, the less likely it is to nourish your body. Now what happens is, if we're not properly nourished within that meal, we actually have to eat more in order to feel satisfied. You hear me say this word, satiated, all the time. Because the key to not overeating is choosing meals or putting meals together that satiates, that satisfies. Okay, and so when you're having foods that are highly processed, they are void of the vitamins, void of the minerals, void of the macronutrients, the good carbs that we need, the good fats that we need, the good proteins that we need, right? And so we feel like, oh, I can still eat something. Oh, I'm still kind of hungry. I haven't had enough, right? And so when you're able to really put those meals together, and I'll do that in another video to teach you how to formulate your meals, then you feel more satisfied. You're not eating every 2 hours. You're properly fueled throughout the day, and you feel good because you have the stamina that you need to get through your day. Okay? Picture this. I use this with clients all the time. Think about being in a car having to go from New York to Florida on a half a tank of gas. You know that's highly unlikely because you don't have the fuel, right? The energy to get that far. The same thing, food is our fuel. And so if we're not properly fueling our bodies, we're ill-equipped to get through our day. Okay, another example is your cell phone. If you don't charge your cell phone at night, chances are at some point during the day, probably when it's really important, you're not going to have that cell phone operate at its optimum because it's not properly charged. It's not properly fueled or energized because it hasn't been charged. So instead of saying that, you know what, carbs are bad, I like to look at it as carbs, simple carbs are not ideal for you. The complex carbs are the ones that you really want to focus on, okay? And the complex carbs are the foods that grow from the ground, right? From the earth. Now, I'm looking over here because I have examples I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to show you how I store them, how I buy them, because they really are my staple carbs, and I wanted to share that information with you. So I like, whenever I choose a carb, I also try to make sure that my carb is nutritionally dense, nutrient dense, okay? So I want to try to make sure that my carb also has fiber in it. Women should have at least 25 grams of fiber, and men at least 35 grams. Now, everyone is a little bit different. If you're a woman, you might need a little bit more. You might need a little bit less. Everyone is a little bit different. I personally need a little bit more. That's just how my body is, and so be it, right? So, but that is just like the general guideline as to what works for you. So whenever I'm picking a carb, I want to make sure that it has fiber in it, it has some protein in it, it has vitamins and minerals in it, so that it is nutritionally dense. Because again, I'm going to say that word, if it is, I'm more likely to be satisfied, which gives me the opportunity then to eat 3 to 4 meals a day. I eat 4 meals a day, okay? And if I'm not doing that, sometimes 5 meals, if I've been super busy, then I have to have that 5th meal. I am not going to deny my body energy, but I want to make sure that that energy is nutrient dense. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Is kidney beans. I like to have my kidney beans with quinoa. I'll have it with in a chili, especially during the winter time. I eat a lot of chili. Sometimes I'll put it on my tortilla, and with you know, onions, peppers, things like that. So good. And I'll have it with either ground beef. Sometimes I'll have it with chicken, whatever I want. But I like to have these because they have the fiber, they have the protein, and it's also a carb, okay? So it energizes my body in a way that I don't need to eat every 2 hours. Okay, so my next example is, ooh, it's full. I did not know that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you see, I use these canisters. I got them from Amazon. Now I'm spilling quinoa in my studio, but I guess I'll have to clean that up, right? All right, still spilling out. So anyway, this is quinoa. Quinoa is considered a grain by some. Others consider it a seed. And I do believe that it is a seed because I eat hemp hearts a lot, and that's also like a seed. And it has that texture to me. I love quinoa. It energizes me. It gives me the strength and the stamina that I need. Its origin is found in South America. Now, you'll hear this later as you watch this channel, watch me on this channel. I believe that when we look at foods that works best for us, and we look at our genetic background, DNA, which land we came from, we do better with that. That is what I believe. Now, that means that, you know, my people, my nation, I am indigenous American, and I'm from the Skorore Wokan Nation, and we've been here in America for a very long time. Now, I also have DNA from South America, because before we were colonized, we were Turtle Island, right? We call it America. We divided it into a region, South America, North America, and that has changed over the years. Now, long story short, my body processes this quite well. My body does not do very well with gluten. Gluten products, and so I try to stay away from those because I don't feel well with those, okay? So quinoa, I have quite a bit. I have quinoa with eggs and fish. I have quinoa with beans, black beans, red beans, lentils. It does not matter. I love my quinoa, and I'll even have quinoa in a cereal. You can mix it with berries. I put hemp hearts, and I also put some protein powder, make it nice and creamy, and I eat it as a hot cereal. So you can do a lot with quinoa. And if you want that recipe, let me know, and I'll get that recipe. I'll post it. So yeah, this is quinoa. Now I wanted to share with you the information, the nutritional information from quinoa. Okay, so when we look at this, I get this from Costco, quinoa, okay? And you see, I get it in quite a big bag, and then I store it in the canister, and I just pour as I need. So the serving size is a quarter cup of quinoa. It's 160 calories. 28 grams come from carbs. So I enjoy quinoa. It says that quinoa, known as the mother grain in South America, in the South American culture, dates back to the Incan Empire and is actually a seed and not a grain. Today we enjoy quinoa for its great taste and nutritional properties. Quinoa, one of nature's complete plant-based proteins, and I'll get to that shortly, which means that the quinoa contains essential amino acids in proportions that help with nutritional need. Now, what makes, although the kidney bean has protein in it, it is not a complete protein. So if you're eating more plant-based and you're eating beans and then not the quinoa or not the rice or not another carb with it, it is not a complete protein. Okay, so it is a protein, yes, but in order to really unlock the potential of that protein, you have to pair it with a quinoa or white potato or sweet potato or something like that. Okay, so this is quinoa, and it has 28 grams of protein in it for a quarter cup. All right, now my next one. Okay, so by now you can see I like to buy in bulk because it saves a lot of money when you buy in bulk. I like to get these from Costco. Sometimes I get it from Walmart. I think I got this from Costco also. So you also can tell that I'm at Costco quite a bit. Okay, I'm at Costco because I have a huge family. All right, so I love my chia seed as well. I have this almost every morning. I'll have this either on berries. I'll put my chia seed on berries. I'll have it with hemp hearts, or I make my protein pancake. I can eat the same thing for a year and not complain. Because I don't really care about, I just want to make sure I'm getting my nutrients in. I'm not really driven by what do I have to taste for, because for me personally, if I'm always swayed by what I have to taste for, it will throw me off. Everyone is different, but that's me. So I don't really go by taste. I go by what is it that my body needs in order to do what I need to do today. Okay, that's how I live. Okay, so let's go and break down this. Nutritional content here is 150 grams for 3 tablespoons. Now the carbs here is 13 grams of carbs, but the dietary fiber is 10 grams. So that means that the net carbs, right, what's left over is actually only 3 grams, because most of the carbs come from the fiber. All right, so again, women need about 25 grams, men need about 35 grams of fiber every day. And so this helps to get that. It also has vitamin D. It has calcium, potassium, also rich in iron as well. Okay, so you can even use this as an egg substitute. So you can take this, let it sit in water, and it'll get nice and egg whitish consistency, and develop an egg white consistency, and you can use that as well. So as a matter of fact, I ran out of eggs the other day. I didn't know. Making my protein pancake, I just let it sit, let it go ahead and kind of get that consistency of the egg white, and it was totally fine. Okay, so it's a great egg substitute as well. All right, my next carb is actually a fruit, my grapefruit, and I love grapefruit. I do not have these every day. When I'm in the mood, I'll get like a bag of grapefruit. I'll enjoy my grapefruit, and then when I have it, I usually have it at about a half of a grapefruit. If my carbs are really low that day, I'll just go ahead and have the whole grapefruit. Now, some studies show that grapefruit actually helps to burn fat, but I like it for the fact that I love the taste, but it is also very high in potassium. Okay, and potassium helps to support cell health. If you don't have any medical issues, you're not taking any blood pressure or high cholesterol medication, This is great for lowering, let's say that you went out to eat and you had, something, some takeout, and you noticed the salt content was really high. This is great to bring your body back into balance because of the high potassium. So that potassium, what you can do with the peel of this grapefruit is you can take it, you can boil it, and you can make a tea from it, and it's very, very good. Now again, if you are under the doctor's care, I recommend speaking to your doctor first. I am not a doctor, I am a coach. This is what I do for myself. So I am not diagnosing or anything. I'm just letting you know that that is great. This grapefruit is great for if you've had a lot of salt out, you could taste the salt, you knew it was gonna maybe spike your blood pressure. Not saying you had to have diagnosed with blood pressure. I'm not speaking to that demographic, that audience. Now you're putting on your rings the next day, your fingers are a little bit tight, you're not on any medication. This is a great way to bring it down, to bring the body back into balance. And it's a carb, okay? I believe that food is medicine. Food can be medicine, and if it's highly processed, it might not be medicine, okay? So I try to have as much medicine in my day, in my meals, as possible to keep my body healthy. Avocado. I love avocado as well because it is highly, you can put it in so much, right? You can put it in a shake and make it nice and creamy. You can put it in a protein shake with some berries. You can put a banana if you wanted to. I personally don't eat bananas, but berries and things like that. It's great with meals. It's great as a snack. It's great with as guacamole. You can use it as a spread. There's so much you can do with avocado, and it's actually a fruit as well. Avocado is high in fiber, but it is also a carb. So a lot of the fiber from that carb kind of brings it down as well. So when I'm having my carbs, these are the foods. These are my typical foods that I go for. Now I also have sweet potato. I don't have it. I do have it in the home, but I don't have it here. Sweet potato is something I have a lot during the fall and the winter. I just really love sweet potato. And as a matter of fact, I am actually trying to grow sweet potato this year, and I hope that Creator blesses me to have that sweet potato, but gives me the opportunity to harvest sweet potato this year. So if so, I will definitely show you that as well. But the sweet potato is also highly nutritious. It's a carb, but it also has protein in it as well as fiber. So with all of the carbs that I've chosen, that I've shown you today, all of the carbs that I'm showing you today, you see that it is not just a carb. It has nutrients in it. It has fiber in it, most of them. It has protein in it as well. And so it's a nutrient-dense carb. Okay, so that is the difference between a simple carb and a complex carb, because it has so much going for itself that it is highly nutrient, and so highly nutritious, and so you're more prone to being and so it keeps you satisfied longer, which keeps you on track with your fat loss goals. Now, so we covered that, okay? I know that's a lot, and so I didn't want to overwhelm you with all of the carbs, okay? Now that we've covered carbs, why do we need them? Carbs helps to fuel us. It helps to provide energy, and we talked about that. Carbs are also very important for recovery, right? So I've worked out, yesterday, I worked out the day before, and without proper recovery, without proper rest, my body is not going to change. It's not going to develop. It's not going to get stronger. As a matter of fact, when I'm lifting weights, there are micro tears that develop within the muscle. Now, what happens is those micro tears begin to, get stronger because I'm breaking down the muscle. So the muscle actually has to get strong. Okay, so carbs are important for recovery so that I'm able to strengthen that muscle, rebuild that muscle. It's important for building that muscle up and filling the muscle out. Sometimes if we're very low in carbs, then our muscle can appear flat. And so the carbs help to fill it out. All right, so that is the importance of having carbs. It is for the repairing and for the building of the muscle. It is for refueling the body and keeping the body energized to do the work that it needs to do. Now, how many carbs you need is really determined by you as an individual. So I am not going to tell you you need to have X amount of carbs in order to do X, Y, and Z. I will tell you that I keep my carbs on the lower side, and when I say lower, I mean I'm having about no more than 100 grams of carbs, and oftentimes it's lower than that. Okay, so I have about 75 to 80 carbs, anywhere in that. Sometimes the time of the year changes, because the time of the year can also affect that, because as we get into the higher months, when you are having less carbs, you are spilling out more water. You have to go to the restroom more frequently, and so you can become dehydrated, because the carbohydrate is, you're having less carbs, so you're not holding on to as much water. You have to continue to drink more water. Okay, so if it's really, really hot, I might have a little bit more, but not over, my net carbs are not over 100. Okay, 200 grams or 300 grams or anything like that of carbs. Okay, not even close. So I try to keep it under 100. If it's really hot outside, I might hit 100 net carbs. I might, but even that is highly unlikely. Okay, I do not go into ketosis. I was on the keto diet for about 3 years. I absolutely loved it. I didn't feel deprived, but I did miss my beans, because I love beans. But I'm no longer on the keto diet. I am not going to say that it was horrible or anything like that. It worked for me. It healed my body. And again, that's another video as well. Okay. Now, when should you have carbs? Okay. So if carbs are for the building and the refueling and the recovery of the body, what I like to do is have my carbs, I like to sandwich them. So I have my carbs in the morning for breakfast, and I have my carbs for lunch, because I usually do my workout in between that time. And then my dinner, if I have, you know, a client and I'm still doing some stuff, like I have to work on some choreography today. It is 3 o'clock, I think. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. I'll be doing, I'll probably have some carbs tonight, because I'm refueling the muscle. And I've already worked out 2 or 3 days this week already. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm having proper recovery. I want to make sure that I'm building my muscle. So I try to put those carbs where I'm most active. All right, so let's say that you're working a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6. Then I recommend having your carbs on the busiest time of your day. And then if you're having dinner at 7 o'clock, you don't necessarily need a carb unless you're doing some more work later. Right? Now, again, everyone is different. You can kind of feel out what works best for you, because I don't want to tell you that's absolute, definite, concrete. Everyone is different. You really have to feel out what works best for you. Some people can tolerate more carbs than others. Some people can tolerate more protein than others. And some people can't tolerate much protein at all. Okay? So you really have to know your body, or learn your body, and go with that. All right, I hope that this video helped to give clarity to you about carbs. Not all carbs are bad. It really is the complex carbs that you want to major on. And if you're having any of the simple carbs, you just don't want to overdo it with those things. Okay, so before we end this video, I want to give a special thanks to all of the new subscribers. I'm so grateful to have you here. Welcome to the community, and I hope that these videos really serve you well in helping you elevate wellness. I want to thank each and every subscriber who's already, who's been here, who's watching, who's coming back, who's benefiting from the videos. I appreciate you, and please understand that I do these videos for you. Okay, I'm here to help you elevate wellness in this space, because I know there's a lot of voices out there, and I want to share my journey, share my experience, share my knowledge with you, so that you can elevate wellness as well. And to those who are still on the fence and not quite sure, if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing. It helps other people find this information. It can help people that you care about find this information as well, because you can share it. Okay, if you do subscribe, go ahead and hit that notification bell as well, so the next time I upload a video, you will be among the first to be notified. We are in August already, and I'm so excited to share with you. I just did completed a August challenge for you. Okay, so I'm gonna upload the first week in the community. So as this drops, On Thursday, you should be able to go into the community part and see the first week of the videos, the first week of the calendar, okay? And then each week I will upload that calendar, or I'll put it on my website. Either way, I will let you know where the rest of that content will lie. Until then, live beautiful.